So the other area that we want to look in this framework for accessible instructional materials implementation is the supports that need to be in place. And they're crucial because if they're not in place, implementation is probably unlikely to happen, or it will not happen as smoothly. And some of those things that we look at is the file acquisition. And we know that within your district, when we're talking about the supports, really what you want to take a look at is, where does somebody, get the file from? Or who do you need to go through to get that, that file? In addition to it, it might be that the district themselves need to create it, or we need to teach the classroom teacher. And I'll go back to my example of when I was in the classroom, 50% of the material that I used was supplemental material. Am I being taught how to make that material accessible for the student so that they're able to utilize it right away without having to send it out to have it reproduced and then get it back? The other thing that we want to take a look at, and you want to think about places to be able to acquire the different files, is whether or not it's going to be from a national standpoint, a state, a local education agency that's going to help with that area of acquiring the file or transcribing, whether or not it's through, through the publisher. We don't want to get too much into that aspect now, but it is important for successful implementation in the area of AIM.
Mm-hmm. So some other aspects of supports that are important to think about when you're a team member is that collaborative teaming to integrate the specialized formats and tools in all educational settings. For example, if you're an itinerant service provider, which a lot of assistive technology specialists are, and teachers of the visually impaired are, you need to collaborate with those site-based teachers. The general education teacher, you might collaborate with a speech and language clinician or another special education teacher in terms of supporting students using accessible instructional materials and tools in the classroom. And then another support is thinking about the materials in the student's individual presentation style and the procedures in place to adapt those materials, and what kind of supports are in place locally and at the site to support that student in using those individualized materials. And then we also want to think about the supports for electronic materials, and do they have the flexibility to present content in the student's preferred access methods, and what kind of supports are in place at the site to help the student use those methods.